Patrick's dinosaur. Patrick and his brother Hank went to the zoo on Saturday. They stood outside a tall fence and watched the elephants.
Elephants.
I'll bet the elephant is the biggest animal in the whole world, said Patrick. You think he's big? Hank said. A brontosaurus was heavier than 10 elephants.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, said Patrick. If Hank said so, it must be true. Hank knew all about dinosaurs. He knew more about everything because he was older and went to school already. See, if you go to school, then you know everything.
Brontosaurus, Quinquesaurus.
Yes. Patrick squeezed his eyes half shut. What would a dinosaur that weighed as much as 10 elephants look like? The brontosaurus he imagined turned and looked right at him. See, this is the brontosaurus. And these are 10 elephants.
How is heavier?
He's very heavy because he's too big. Can you sit down?
Yeah, but I couldn't.
Little bit. You can put your legs here. Yes. Did brontosaurus eat people? He asked nervously. Just plants, answered Hank. Patrick's dinosaur started eating leaves from one of the trees.
But can he escape and get more trees?
Maybe. They went to see the crocodile next. Crocs were the Patrick's favorite because he liked to scare himself. Those are shrimpy, said Hank.
These are shrimpy.
Shrimpy. Okay. Those are shrimpy, said Hank. In the days of dinosaur, crocodiles grew 3 times that big. Wow, said Patrick. Just their jaws were twice as big as you are, added Hank. Patrick imagined an enormous crocodile. It was 3 times bigger than the other crocs. It was so big that it wanted the whole pool for itself. The other crocodiles were too slow getting out, so the enormous crocodile opened his jaws that were twice as big as Patrick and gobbed them all up. Patrick backed away. We didn't see the monkeys yet. After they had seen the monkeys and the seals, Patrick and Hank went for a row on the zoo lake. Patrick looked down into the deep green water. What was that dark shape next to their boat? Did dinosaurs know how to swim? He asked. Some did, answered Hank. Diplodocus, the longest dinosaur, could stay underwater like a submarine because its nose was on top of its head. Patrick was...
Thank you so much. Blah, 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 blah.
Hold on, either, come here. Patrick was afraid to move. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw the big thing swimming along next to them. It might rise and dump them over. What's that? He cried. We are going to bump into it. No, Dopey. That's just a shadow from our boat. Hank explained. Patrick wasn't so sure. Let's go home now, he said. Rowing makes me tired. When they got on the bus, Patrick felt better, even though Hank was still showing off how much he knew about dinosaurs. A stegosaurus was bigger than one of those cars, said Hank. But its brain was only the size of a walnut. Patrick looked out the window. In his mind, the lane of car was line of walnut-brained stegosaurus. The plate on their backs swayed like sail as they plodded along. Hank reached up and rang the bell for the driver to stop. A triceratops was tougher than Stegosaurus, he said. It could even take on a Tyrannosaurus.
Tyrannosaurus?
No, Tyrannosaurus.
Tyranno.
Yeah, Tyrannosaurus. The bus stopped at their corner on the other side of street. Patrick bought a new Triceratops waiting for the traffic light. Did you know I make a mistake?
What?
I said Patrick bought, but you did not listen. It's a Patrick thought he saw a Triceratops waiting for the traffic light. When Patrick and his brother climbed down from the bus, the hot dusty street became prehistoric forest. Tropical birds screamed their warning. Too late, a dreadful Tyrannosaurus crashed into the clearing. Patrick held his breath as the Triceratops lowered its huge head. Its horns pointed ahead like three enormous spears. When the traffic lights changed, the Triceratops charged. Run, Patrick yelled. He headed for their apartment building. What's the hurry? Called Hank. Patrick didn't feel safe until the front door of the hall slammed shut. He wanted to look out his window, but first he had to ask Hank something. How big was the Tyrannosaurus? Big, said Hank. Up to the second floor, maybe, asked Patrick. At least, Hank agreed. That's what I was afraid of, said Patrick. He peeked into his bedroom. Sure enough, the ugly head of the Tyrannosaurus almost filled his window. The dinosaur opened its mouth to show teeth like a daggers. Patrick didn't think these dinosaurs ate leaves. Are you sure there are no more dinosaurs around? He asked Hank. Are there any more dinosaurs?
No.
Positive, the dinosaurs have been gone for 60 million years. Patrick gave a sign of relief and the dinosaurs disappeared. So the next book. And there would stand Mommy Duck, and Mommy Duck would march him back to the big pond. She would scrub him until he shone, and as she scrubbed and she would sing, a scrubber dub duck, for a good little duck needs to be squeaky clean.
Where you got that shampoo from?
Welcome. So whenever Mummy Ducky was about to jump into the slimy stream,
These are mine that it.
Mucky Ducky. So whenever Mucky Ducky was about to jump into the slimy stream or the dirty puddle in the big pan or hide under the leaking gutter by the sheep shed, he would hear a
Quack.
quack and there would stand Mommy Duck. Mommy Duck wanted him to shine and sparkle and be neat and clean. Now behind the woodshed, down the little path, was an old mill pond. Most of the time the mill pond was dry and mud at the bottom was hard, so no fun at all. But when it rained, the hard mud turned squeezy and soft and slippery and slopey. And one day it rained.
That's your wizard.
Yeah. And rain and rain and rain. And Mucky Ducky plotted and planned and waited. Plan.
What?
She was thinking, Mucky Ducky was thinking to how she can go to mill pond.
Yeah, but so how?
She's thinking.
Yeah, but can you tell me?
Yeah, while Mommy Duck was looking the other way, Mucky Ducky crept silently up the side of the bank, and Mommy Duck did not see him. He sneaked through the bushes and ran past the flower beds, and still Mommy Duck did not see him. But as he crawled through the clover patch, the tip of shiny yellow tail wiggled just above the grass, and Mommy Duck saw it, and she wondered. And she looked up at the rain and down at the pond. And then she remembered the mill pond and Mucky Ducky, and off Mommy Duck dashed. She took a shortcut right through the slimy stream. She hurried under the leaking gutters by the sheep shed. then ran through the dirty puddle in the pig pen and even over the squeezy swamp until finally Mummy Duck saw a Mucky Ducky. But Mucky Ducky had almost reached the edge of the meat pond. Mummy Duck ran as fast as possible towards the pond. Mummy Ducky got nearer and nearer to the mud as Mummy Ducky ran faster and faster and closer. And just as Mummy Duck was about to reach out to grab Muggy Ducky, she slipped on her slimy, muddy float and started to slide and slither along the path.
Oh, there's wide legs.
Yeah,
Why?
because she slipped. It's just like, okay, they are just showing in the slow motions. She slipped right past Muggy Ducky and with a loud
Quack!
quack, she slid over the edge of the pond and splashed into the middle of the grabbiest, dirtiest, and squeeziest pile of mud in the whole farm. Mummy Ducky looked at the Mummy Duck. Mummy Duck looked at the Mucky Ducky. Mummy Duck said quack and then quackle.
No, Mommy Duck needs to look at Mucky Ducky, and Mucky Ducky needs to look at Mommy Duck.
Yeah, so that's what I said, right? Mucky Ducky looked at Mummy Duck, and Mummy Duck looked at the Mucky Ducky. Mummy Duck said quack,
Quack.
and then quackle,
Quack.
and chuckle and chuckle. So Mucky Ducky jumped in too, and the two of them slimed and squeezed and slushed together all day long.
Auntie is
Hmm.
Wow.
See? Now, never touch a monster. You must never touch a monster who has smiled at you and waved. It may look warm and friendly, but it is not well behaved. You must never touch a monster who has asked you round for a tea. It wants you, put you in a pot and eat you.
Probably.
You must never touch a monster. It's silly things to do. Ignore it if it is smile and says, "Hello there, how are you?" You must never touch a monster. You should always hurry by. Just keep on walking past it and don't look at in the eye.
He has one eye like a minion.
Yeah, like a minion. And don't ever touch a monster who is hungry for its lunch. It might just see you coming and